friends, welcome to this week's DFU. Today we are doing the 5th class in our Final Fantasy VII semester. Just a quick reminder, the semester is multiple episodes on one subject, so we're not going to act like this is a normal DFU with the quizzes at the beginning and the end. We're going to jump right into a narrative that we've already established. So if this is your first one that you're watching, please go back and watch one of the other ones. Chris will link them below, and you should be able to find them on our playlists. But start at the beginning and then catch up to this one. But yeah, whatever you do, don't jump in right now because you've already missed crucial points in the story that are going to confuse you very badly. So, joining me today as not our host, but as the person who knows everything because they've unfortunately just killed their social life to play this game again and again and again.
I'm okay with that.
We have Chris. Chris, how are you?
I'm completely okay with that. I'm great.
I actually did not offend you.
Yes, I would destroy my entire social life for Final Fantasy VII. That is 100% accurate. 100% accurate. It is my breath of air every day. It's Final Fantasy VII. I wake up and I kiss my strategy guide every morning. It's my baby.
This might be an addiction. I might be worried about you now.
It could be. It very much could be. I'm sorry. I don't know what else to say about that. It's so good. So good.
All right, so I want you to teach me because I'm really excited because we just got to a chocobo farm.
Yes,
right?
we did.
That's where we're at?
We left the chocobo farm already. Remember? Because
Oh.
we took a chocobo and we went across the swamp with the big snakes.
That's right. We're going across the swamp with the big snakes.
But don't worry, chocobos show
what's
up
happening
multiple places. They're not just there.
Good.
Anyways,
They need to.
so we crossed the swamp with the big snakes. We got on the other end, and I think we left off with the fact that we saw one of them dead with a looked to be sharpened tree shoved through their face.
That's right. Yes.
And Cloud said it could be nobody else than Sephiroth. Sephiroth. So we are officially on the hunt for Sephiroth at this point in the game. So we're starting to get a little bit of momentum of knowing kind of what we're after, kind of where we're going, because before it was kind of like what the hell's kind of going on here type deal. So, which is fine, you know, a little bit of mystery before we dive into it. It's nothing wrong with that. So, our next spot we jump into, which is a very, very short little stay, is called the Mithril Mines, and that's what we use the chocobo to get to, is the Mithril Mines. We get inside there, and it's pretty much just your normal, like, kind of looting place, but once you get to the end, we run into our friends the Turks again. Yes, we get Rude and Sung and Elena, which I think is the only Turk we haven't met yet in the story so far. Elena, in that picture that I sent forever ago, which obviously Mandy will have it up there for us because she's awesome, is the blonde-headed lady. She is pretty cute. So the only issue with Elena is, and this is pretty funny, was this is their way of trying to make it to where you could understand what the Turks were doing, is she is too open with communication. So she would say stuff. I think she literally walks out and she's all like, well, you're not going to be able to get to Sephiroth because he's heading north and we're going right after him. That type of deal. You know what I'm saying? Like she's not trying to be too open with the information that she's been given, but she just is too open with the information that she has been given. So yes, that is how we know where Sephiroth is heading next, is she decides to tell us. So yeah, it's, fun little stuff like that. But that's pretty much all that happens in the Mithril Mines, and we'll have a couple of spots in the game like this where like we're kind of only here for a couple seconds, and it's just to get some information. They're definitely time killers in the game for sure because it takes a while to get through all the fucking random encounters and everything else you run into in there. But anyways, jumping outside of the Mithril Mines, we end up going to Fort Condor, which is a little bit more to the left of the map, which is a pretty cool place. There's not too much for us to do here at this point. It actually becomes a crucial part of the game a little bit later on. But what's cool is that whenever you get there, you get a little bit of a talk. Like basically, you're met by a man. So it's like this fort is built inside of a mountain, and on the top of the mountain is a nest, and it actually has a full-grown phoenix on top of this nest, just sitting on top of Fort Condor. So this gigantic
seems like a badly named fort. Like it should probably be Fort Phoenix.
You would think, yeah.
Like, why name it Condor? Condors are short, stupid, ugly birds. Like,
I legit thought that's, you know what? I'm kind of wondering if I might be wrong.
It's supposed to be a full-grown condor?
Well, I know that's,
which is not impressive.
I know that's where you get the phoenix materia from. So I want to say it was a phoenix because the bird dies. I know that, and that's hashtag spoiler alert. It doesn't lead to anything in the story, so I'm not worried about telling you that. But that's where you get the phoenix materia, and I'm kind of worried that maybe it is just a condor, and that you just because it's a bird that the phoenix materia just so plotly decides to be there.
Is it like a black and white boring bird, or is it like bright orange and
It
on
definitely
fire?
doesn't have definitely doesn't have like the phoenix features at all. That's for sure. Which is why now I'm starting to question myself on whether or not it was a condor or a fucking phoenix. Uh,
I was gonna say condors look a little bit like vultures. Actually, they look a lot like vultures. If you saw a condor, you'd probably think it was a vulture. Because technically it is, but it's not the point.
yeah, they're condors. I'm pretty sure now. At least that's what this is
I
saying. It
mean,
says you won't be able to rest or buy items until you have agreed to join the fight and save the condors. So I'm guessing it's a condor.
that does make more
It
sense. I
makes
feel
more
like
sense,
that
but
probably
it
should have dawned
doesn't.
on you at some point.
It doesn't make sense why the materia you get from there is called phoenix. But hey, whatever.
That is true. That is true. I will give you that. But
So I thought it was a phoenix, but apparently it's a condor. It's a fucking condor. Anyways, but it's still huge. It's fucking gigantic. It's bigger than a fucking mountain. I actually think
oh
I
shit.
think in that first fucking picture of the map that I posted up in here, like you can actually see the fucking condor on the map, and that's like supposed to be like the real size of the bird. Yeah. Yep. No. Yep. Sure enough, there it is. Yeah. So, anyways, um, but moving on. So you get to there, and basically you get told that Shinra is planning to attack them soon, and they don't have enough troops. That if you would help them, it's like a little mini game you get to do in the game, where like you kind of place like troops strategically to try to fight back the Shinra forces. But if the Shinra, and if you beat them, then cool, you save Fort Condor, but the bird still dies. If Shinra meets the door, if they get all the way up to attack the Condor, then your team is forced to go out and fight instead of doing this little mini
Hmm.
game. You actually go into an actual battle. Which I mean, if you lose at that point, I have done something seriously wrong in the game. Um, but you beat Shinra, and once again, the bird still dies. And then you go up there, you get the Phoenix materia, and there's like the little egg hatches, and a little baby condor comes out, and it just flies away. So, and that's the last that ever happens. I don't know what the rest of their life is like after that, because it seems like that's all their life was about, was protecting this condor. So, and the baby just decides to leave. So, does what it wants to do, I guess. Who knows? Anyways,
I mean, that is birds. Birds be
birds
birds.
be birds. There we go. That is the tagline in this story. Birds be birds.
That's the DFU stance
There we
on
go.
it. Birds be birds.
Have a little chocobo dancing when we say that. Birds be birds. Anyways, but now back to a little bit of story. So then we go to Junon Harbor. Junon is a little bit more up to the side where so basically the way to look at Gaia is it's three continents. There's one on the right, one on the left, and then one up top. And we are still on the right continent at this point. But Junon Harbor is where a lot of ships leave to go over to sail to Costa del Sol, which is where you start on the left continent. Anyways, so Junon Harbor, we get there, and we're trying to find Sephiroth. Now we know that Sephiroth is moving towards the other continent, and we want to get over there. And the only way to do that is to go through the harbor. The only issue is that Shinra, Rufus, our good old new president of Shinra, is having a parade thrown in his honor at Junon, and they pretty much have
Hmm.
all the ports occupied and supplied with soldiers at this point. So it's not going to be easy to get across. So as we're down in the beach aspect of Junon, we meet this little girl named Priscilla. And she does not like us because she thinks that we are part of Shinra. And as we sit there and try to talk to her more and more and more, she ends up running into the water. And we see this gigantic mutated beast come out of the water, this huge water serpent. And it's by her little pet dolphin. She's got like a little pet dolphin. And she's worried about her dolphin, so she runs out there. Well, the thing hits her and knocks her out in the water. So obviously the heroes spring in the action, and we get Priscilla out of the water, and this is a mini boss fight, so it takes a little while to kill this guy. He's actually kind of a jackass with some of his moves that he does. He's a real douchebag. But anyways, once you move past him, you're good to go. So this is actually cool because back in this time, like whenever you look once again, even just looking at the graphics, you can tell that the game is dated. They had so many cool little mini game aspects that they put in here. Like going back to talking about getting the wig for the whole cross dress scene. You had to do
Mm-hmm.
lunges, which was a little mini game in the game. You had to do a lunge competition, and here we are after we beat this boss. She's not breathing, and so they asked Cloud to give her CPR. The village people do because they're the two people that are down there. Or no, it's only one person. It's the old man that's down there. He's like, my lungs aren't good enough. I can't give her CPR. So Cloud gets down to give her CPR, and it's actually like a mini game where you had to fill the air up in Cloud's lungs, and you can see his lungs and release them at a specific point in order to do it effectively in order to wake her back up. I don't think that she can die. I'm pretty sure that that can't happen in the game. I'm pretty sure you just sit there all
Oh,
day until you
good.
bring her back to life. But yeah,
I was gonna say, can you imagine the trauma of some 8-year-old playing this game? Like, I couldn't save this little girl. That would have been
right.
horrible. If uh, if they made the decision to not allow you to actually accidentally kill this girl, I'm proud of them for
Yeah,
doing so, because that would
I'm
be
100%
traumatic and
sure she
terrible.
lives. Uh,
Yeah. Okay.
because she gives you materia. So you save her life, and then she kind of goes and gets some rest, and you guys go back up to the village, and the little old lady there invites you to stay in at her house for saving Priscilla. You wake up the next morning, and you hear the whole marching band music going on and everything else. The whole fucking show is getting ready to go for Rufus Shinra. Woot woot. He's in town and he's heading to go take on Sephiroth. He's going to be the hero of Gaia. Yeah, I know. So um, so Priscilla comes down and she's like, "Thank you so much for saving my life. Here, take this." Which she gives you a summon materia. So our second summon, which
Hmm.
is Shiva, the goddess of ice, which she is a badass. I like Shiva. She's one of my favorite summons. I always put her on Tifa, and she's pretty much Tifa's like main summon. Um, anyways,
So
go ahead.
hang on, this is
Hit me.
something I clearly didn't understand. Each materia, I recognize that the different colors act differently,
Correct.
but each unit kind of has its own thing that it does. Like you said, this one summons the goddess of ice.
Mm-hmm.
The other one that we got summoned, I'm trying to
It was
remember who in the
Choco
world.
Mog.
Somewhere.
Yeah, it was a little choco. It's a fat chocobo with a little mog riding on his head. It's like a really overweight chocobo. Yeah, Choco Mog.
That's
I know,
adorable.
right? And you got that from the dancing
Oh,
chocobos. That was our first summon
oh
materia.
boy.
Yep, little Choco Mog.
Sounds slightly less useful, but still wonderful, and I'm glad it exists. So each one of these materia will do its own thing. Is that true with the other colors as well, where each unit
Yes.
has its own?
So you
Okay.
have you have your different color materias, but just because later on in the game, whenever you master each materia, if you can master each one of the green, you then can get the master green materia, which will do all of those in one unit. But until then, you're getting constant separate units, which is why I told you whenever you master materia, it bursts a new version of it, but without level. So that way you can give that to another
Mm-hmm.
character, and then they can have that as well if that's a good materia for you to have. So like one of the common
Ah,
strategies when
okay.
fighting like the weapons way later on in the game, the very hard ones that were only given to the American version, um, a materia to have is called Final Attack. And what happens is that whenever you have Final Attack, you get to cast one spell as you die. And so if you take Final Attack and you pair it with Revive, every time you die, you'll just revive yourself instantly. It does it instantly. You don't have to do it. It just does it by itself. And if you master that
That's
up, yep,
convenient.
if you master Final Attack to its full potential and Revive to its full potential, you can revive that character 8 times in one match with Final Attack. And you don't have to cast
Wow.
anything,
Hey,
it's just there. The moment you die, Cloud will stand up and he'll do a spell, then he'll fall back down like he was dead, and then he'll raise back up as he got brought to life. It's pretty funny to watch. So yes. So whenever you're fighting like the last hardcore fucking like emerald weapon and ruby weapon, it's pretty standard to have a maxed out final attack and revive on all three characters. So you don't have to worry about keep constantly like worrying about keeping them healed or yeah, keeping them held up and everything else because they're just gonna take so much fucking damage because those things are fucking ridiculous. So
now when a character revives using that materia, do they get all of their health back or only portion, or does it depend on whether or not you've
it
mastered it
depends on
yet?
whether or not you mastered it yet. So revive sometimes will
Cool.
bring you like a little bit to where full revive brings you all the way back to full health. So and there's different spells and shit you can learn
Okay.
throughout. Like for instance, like whenever you first get that one that I was telling you about that's called Restore, and you can cast Cure, which heals your teammate. There's Cure, and then whenever you master it to another level, you get Cure 2, and then when you master it to the last level, you get Cure 3, which is full health.
And that's where you can also like heal everyone, can't you?
Well, if you have it collected to the all materia, heals the entire team. If you don't have it collected to
Ah,
all,
that
then
was
it
it.
just heals yourself. Yep. It's
Okay.
a really tricky system, but once you learn it, it's actually really interesting how they did it. And they only did it for this one. Every Final
It
Fantasy
seems
has a different way the materia works. And some of them, which is interesting, like for instance, Final Fantasy IX, instead of having summon materia, there's just a chick on your team who is a summoner. And that's her whole job is she actually summons. And actually having
hmm.
healing materia and stuff like that, you have like VII, the black mage who can do fire and stuff. You can have him learn like, white mage spells and start doing healing and shit like that too, which is pretty fucking interesting. So they've
Okay.
changed it up
So
every game
it seems like an elegant system, but one that takes a little bit of time
to
to
understand for
figure
sure. Yeah,
out.
it takes a little bit. Like when I was first playing it, I've read all the blue materia and I was like, oh, so this is important materia. I don't need any of this. And I went through like my whole time like never using all. Just had everybody had cure on them, and it's one of those things where it's like you have to be careful because once again, the more material you put on your character, it bogs them down. It brings their overall health down, their overall magic down, and so it's really
Hmm.
smart to understand which characters you want to do the main source of damage. Like for my team, always being Cloud Tifa Red 13. The reason I have Tifa be my healer is because she does a lot of damage, but if she has her final item on, she does less damage the smaller her limit bar is. Whenever her limit bar is getting close to her being able to do her limit breaker, she does insane fucking damage. So in the meantime, Cloud and Red 13, they still do shit tons of damage. So they'll be my attackers and she'll be my healer. And then whenever she gets to the point where she's doing damage, I don't have to worry about anybody healing because all three of them are just knocking people out of the fucking park. So then I don't have to worry about it.
Hmm.
So yeah, it definitely takes strategy once you kind of get used to the system, and it's something that took me a while to learn whenever I was a kid. That's for sure. I was like, I don't fucking understand any of this. All I know is this says if I use it, I can cast fire. So I'm fucking putting it on Cloud. Let's go. Cloud can now cast a fire spell.
Strategy's hard for
Oh yeah,
kids. We just want to blow
yeah.
stuff up. Like,
Yeah,
yeah.
pretty much, pretty much. I didn't care about all this other revive and all this other shit that was going on. I was just like, if I get a game over, I try again. So I'll
Yeah.
take a potion. That much I understood. I'll just take a potion. Anyways, so like I said, we get Shiva, our second summon materia. At this point, which she is, like I said, the goddess of ice. She is a badass. There's a lot of really, really cool summon materias. One of my favorites is Bahamut, the dragon god, which is you've actually heard of him in D&D. He's actually one of the old
Yeah, I
gods. Yep,
have.
he's actually one of the old gods of D&D. Um,
Okay.
they actually have him in here, which is pretty funny because, as I stated previously on Darkstar, we're doing reactions to the Final Fantasy Machina Bridge, and they actually make fun of that because, like, out of all the summons to have, whenever you get to Bahamut, there's like 6 different Bahamuts. There's like Bahamut, then there's Bahamut Zero, then there's Ultimate Bahamut, or fucking like that. And I'm not talking about just 7. I'm talking about multiple games. But in 7, there's like at least 4 different Bahamuts. And so they make a joke about that, where like Cloud's doing that whole flashback to Nibelheim that we've already covered in Calm, and then he's talking about like a dragon comes by and hits the car, and then Barrett goes, "Who was it? Was it Bahamut? Or Bahamut Zero, or Ultimate Bahamut?" And like it's funny because like they keep the skit going for like 10 minutes, but it's just in the background. So Cloud's telling the story, but if you listen close enough, you just hear Barrett in the background going, "Our double Ultimate Bahamut, our Bahamut Ultimate with cheese." Like he's just constantly going. They're just making up shit the entire time. It's so fucking funny. Oh, it's so
That
good.
sounds
It's
amazing.
good. It's a good fucking series. Anyways, but yeah. So, like I said, we have, and actually in the AMV that you watched, that's who they're fighting. That big beast is actually Bahamut Sin.
Oh,
Yep.
okay.
So
Yeah.
whenever that scene in the AMV where that dude points his arm to the sky and it shoots that spell out, he's actually summoning Bahamut into the air, and the Bahamut goes flying down, attacking the city, and that's when Cloud and them fight back. So yep, that's Bahamut Sin. He's actually not in the game. He's in some later games, but that is Bahamut Sin. Anyways, moving on. So, we saved Priscilla. She gave us Shiva, and then after that, she tells us that because the Shinra soldiers are occupying the elevator, she has a way for you to be able to get in, which is actually funny because if you just go talk to the Shinra soldier, you might not be able to do it the first time. They definitely make you do Priscilla's way to get in the first time. But after that, if you walk up to the Shinra guard and you're like, "Hey, can I use the elevator?" He's like, "Give me 10 gil and I'll call it even." And you literally just give me, and like people know who you are at this point. Like Rufus has pasted your faces like all over the place. Like people know that you're fucking Avalanche, and they're just like, "Yeah, just give me 10 gil and you can go in here. Go ahead, that's fine." Like it's funny.
That's a guy who knows. Like, I do not get paid enough
Yep.
to die for this guy. Like, I don't
Yep.
care. If you want to get in here, you can get in here. I will take my money and I will go somewhere
Yep.
else. Like, I like that guy. That's a good henchman.
So Priscilla has a very interesting way for you to get up, and her way is for you to swim out into the ocean underneath a electric tower that is definitely on the fritz and shocking sparks everywhere. And then that she will, once you get into place, she will blow her whistle, and her friend Dolphin will come over there and use his tail to throw you up to where you can catch onto one of the bars in order to climb up to the higher part of Junon Harbor. Yes,
That sounds super reliable.
it's
I'm
super
sure that
reliable.
works the first time, every
Nope,
time.
definitely does not. I fell down plenty of times because I did not quite understand where the perfect spot was to be, even though it directly shows you in the strategy guide. But I feel like it's a
It's
little,
definitely a you problem. I'm sure everybody else did not have this
maybe,
problem.
maybe.
It's probably
It
you.
depends on if they had strategy guide or not. Maybe. Anyways, so the team decides to tell Cloud that they're not doing that. And so only Cloud is going up top. He's going by himself. No one else is doing it. I think it was literally Barrett was like, "Yeah, there's no way in hell I'm doing that." So yeah, so only Cloud's going up top, which is pretty funny. So you get up top, you immediately run into a Shinra base, and as you do, a commanding officer and some other Shinra guards see you and immediately stop you. When they go to stop you, Cloud gets ready to go for a fight, but what he doesn't realize is that they're like, "Hey, you're out of uniform. Getting uniform now. We have to hurry up and go get in the parade." Yes, you are about to go march in the parade in a Shinra outfit.
Oh,
Yes,
this will end
in a
well.
mercenary Shinra outfit. So
Oh, good.
the funny part is that once again, here we go with Amazing Final Fantasy VII, where they give us a mini game. So there's buttons you have to press in order to hit in certain walks right and do certain moves as far as holstering your gun, putting your gun over your shoulder, spinning your gun in the air. Yeah, all this stuff. Yeah, all this flair. Yeah, you have to memorize and learn all that, and you get judged on it as well, which is great. Yeah,
Oh, that's
the
lovely.
best part is that if you go through and you get flawless, you actually get like a lot of money and stuff like that from it. Like basically they pay like the soldiers, for fucking doing the parade. Da, 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 da. I think you get like 3,000 gil or some shit like that, which is pretty good early game. Like later game,
Nice.
that's fucking chump change. But early game's pretty good. So
You gotta work your
you
way
do,
up.
you do. So the funny part is that if you tank it, the commentators actually comment on it, and they're all like, "What was that guy doing?" Like, so if you fuck up the actual march, so then after you manage to get this outfit on and you start getting through the march and everything else, you start walking. You get to this end spot where you're at the boat that they're going to be using to go to Costa del Sol. What you see though is that you see Red 13 is actually on the boat and he's hiding behind some boxes. So now you know your team has managed to infiltrate their way in and get onto the boat. So now you just have to get onto the boat. The only issue is that you're one of the soldiers that's standing there getting ready to do a show for Rufus as he gets on the boat and sails away. So, once again, a little mini game. The higher you get, the better items you get that you actually get from Rufus himself, which is pretty cool. And a couple of Final Fantasies have actually had these. One of my favorite ones actually is actually from Final Fantasy IX, where like you have to do this show in front of the queen and all the audience, like they're doing like a play. And your guys are like hijackers. Like you're not supposed to be there to play, but you're acting like you're actually there. Like they're like a band of thieves. Yeah, like you start out. It seems like all your heroes start out as like the bad guys in the beginning of the story. Like it's Final Fantasy VII, you were terrorist. Now Final Fantasy IX, you're a band of thieves. You're there to steal the princess. But anyways, so and you have to do this show.
We like redemption
Exactly,
stories.
exactly. So you're there to do this show, and like you actually do this whole like you have to do this whole button thing to act in the play, which is pretty cool. So it gets to this point where it's like a fight scene between you and the other lead role. You both know each other, obviously, and like they're fighting with these swords, and you have to do stuff like jump over his blade and like do a backflip, and then try to go to stab him like back and forth, and you have to do it, and you have to get the crowd up to 100%. Like you had to have like everybody love the fucking show. So like if you fuck up, you start losing the favor of the crowd, you start losing the favor of the queen, and then you don't get in. And it's pretty funny. I was actually watching that show I was telling you about where they do the animated ones and they make fun of it. And it's
Mm-hmm.
like you gain 99% out of 100% of the favor. And then the fucking main guy, Zane's like, okay, who the fuck didn't like the show? And then this one guy's like, I didn't think it was all that real. And then Zane just throws his sword and it kills him. It's like, you now gain 99% out of 99% favor. You may move on. I was like, I wish you could fucking do that. There's so many times I would get
Oh, that's
99%.
great.
It's all like, God damn it, I got to do it again. Fuck. Uh, game's good too. But anyways, back to
Again, probably just you. I'm sure
probably,
everybody else is fine.
probably. That's probably true. Anyways, back to the good Final Fantasy VII. Just throwing shade, throwing shade. Anyways, so you do your whole little dance, which is actually pretty funny. Is that he actually lets you, the commanding officer, lets you make up the finishing move, and Cloud has this thing, which I'm pretty sure you may have seen at some point. If you haven't, you probably haven't, honestly, now that I'm thinking about it. But whenever you win a battle, and it does the whole fucking victory music, the da na 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 na, yeah, that favorite thing. Yeah, Cloud
Yes.
spins his sword in the air, that gigantic Buster Blade, that huge fucking sword he has. He spins it with one hand in the air, and then just puts it on his back. Yeah, that he does it every single time, which is pretty fucking funny to watch. Um, and because it's just unbelievable. But Cloud's a fucking
Yes.
beast, so he's the shit. Anyways,
With the weirdest arms in history. Continue.
anyways, so he actually does that with the gun as the like finisher move. So like you actually watch all the other soldiers do it too. They just raise the gun up, spin it in one hand, and then put it on their back. It's fucking hilarious. But anyways, so after you finish that, the right hand man, that one guy that I told you, I don't know how to pronounce his name, the head gar 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 gar, whatever that dude, the fucking, it's got the crazy fucking laugh. Yeah. Anyways, he
Uh-huh.
gets mad at the troops for some shit and then ends up yelling at them, and they all go running off as Rufus is getting onto the boat. So this is your chance to kind of like double back and get onto the boat. So you get onto the boat, and as you do, the cool part is like understanding who is crew and who is your actual team. So you get to walk around looking for like, hey, who are you? Is this Tifa? Like, stuff like that, which is pretty funny. So, like, you end up running into all these people. Red 13 is literally above deck. Red 13, our good old friend Nanaki, the lion,
Mm-hmm.
on two legs in a Shinra outfit with his tail completely poking out of the back, trying to stand up straight and wobbling all over the deck, which looks absolutely hilarious. So it's pretty fucking funny. Like they didn't try to play it off. They literally knew that he would look stupid, so they made him look stupid. It was pretty funny. So, yeah,
Okay. They could have just left him hiding behind a
they could have,
box.
but they chose to put. He wanted to play Get Up as well. The best part is that out of everybody, Barrett puts on an actual sailor's outfit, and they make so many jokes about how Barrett looks. It's like, oh, he looks so cute in his sailor's outfit. He's got the little hat and everything, because we know Barrett's the big muscly guy, so he's wearing like this little itty bitty sailor's outfit with the hat on. It looks hilarious. Oh my
Oh,
gosh, I
man.
love Barrett. He's great. But anyways, so you're trying to figure all this out, but once you find everybody and you get up front, you see Barrett's kind of hiding under this window, and in the window he sees Rufus. He's like, "We could end it all now and just take him out now." And Cloud's like, "No, we need to get to the other side. We need to focus on the main goal, which is Sephiroth. We can deal with Shinra later." And so all of a sudden, the alarm starts going off, and you hear intruders are on deck, intruder on deck, and Cloud's like, "Shit, who got found?" So then you end up running around. Everybody gets to the
Obviously, Red
right.
13.
Well, you're wrong.
Obviously.
So they all run to the deck, and everybody's now out of their outfits at this point, and they're all like, "Hey, is everybody okay?" Yeah, everybody's okay. It's like, well, then who was captured? So you go downstairs, and it's a fucking bloodbath. Everybody downstairs is dead. There's blood all over the. Yeah, see, you didn't think it was going this way. Everybody downstairs is
Ooh.
dead. There's blood all over the place, and Cloud's kind of walking through. So you see this one commanding officer standing, and Cloud walks up to him. He's like, "Hey, what's going on? Did Sephiroth do this?" And then the guy turns around and looks at Cloud and then just collapses. And Cloud's like, "What the?" And then at that moment, Sephiroth comes through the floor, not busting through the floor, just kind of generates himself through the floor to stand in front of all of them. And then Cloud's like, "Sephiroth," and Sephiroth's like, "Who are you?" And he's like, "It's me, Cloud. You don't remember me?" And he's like, "Cloud?" As in like he doesn't know who the fuck he is. He's like, "Doesn't matter. It's almost time." And Cloud says, time for what? And Sephiroth goes, it's almost time. And then he just flies past Cloud and drops. And they call it an arm, but it looks like a tentacle. But an arm of Jenova, his mother, which turns into this gigantic alien Jenova beast that you then have to fight. I don't remember which Jenova it is because they all have different fucking names. Why, I don't know, but I'm pretty sure. I'm 100% sure it's the arm of Jenova, but it looks like a fucking tentacle for some weird reason. Jenova Birth is the name of this one. Yeah, Jenova Birth. Anyway, so basically Sephiroth's just kind of like going around and carrying fucking random pieces of his mom with him, which is kind of fucking fucked up when you think about it that way, but
They've got a weird relationship.
just a little bit, just a little bit. So
They might need some
yeah,
therapy.
just a little bit for sure. So the whole team gets into this whole big fight with Jenova Birth. You take her out, and then Cloud kind of like looks at it, and as he goes to touch it, it kind of just disappears. Um, which this leads back to what we were talking about earlier, where Sephiroth was in Nibelheim, and he was talking about the reunion. The reunion is bringing Jenova back together in one piece, is what that is.
Mm-hmm.
That's what the reunion is, because Sephiroth's goal is to sell the cosmos to find the promised land with his mother. Yes. So, anyways, at this point, you dock at Costa del Sol, which is like this huge, it's basically Florida. Like, it's like this nice beach resort where people go to retire, crazy expensive fucking houses on the beach line, da-da-da, all this other shit. Like, you can actually buy one of them. I can't remember what the name of it is, but I think it's like 300,000 gil in order to buy it. And there's nothing you can do at it. Like, it's just there. So you could sleep and rest.
Can you even go
yeah,
in
you
it?
can go in it. But like there's
Oh,
there's
okay.
like 6 items you can get in there, and you can get them without buying it. You just walk down there and take them. No one says anything to you, so you can literally just walk down there and take them. So you don't have to buy it if you don't want to. But if you want to own it,
Oh.
you could buy it. It's totally up to you. But the weirdest part about this is that we see Hojo again, our good old friend Professor Hojo, and he is beaching it up. He is on vacation, and he's got like 3 lovely ladies next to him, and we've seen what Hojo looks like. He is not the go-getter, that's for sure. So
No.
it's all about that money.
He's gonna experiment on them, and they're
Probably.
not gonna like it.
Probably. Anyways, so we see Hojo. We have some words with him, but he's more of a on vacation Hojo right now, so your problems don't mean anything to me. I'm dead serious. It's pretty much the conversation that happens.
Oh my
Yeah, it's
god.
great. So one of the funny parts here is that what you can actually do is if you have Red 13 on your team, he actually is like laying down and these kids are sitting there playing soccer next to him. And like they'll kick it. If Cloud runs up and kicks the ball, you can actually kick it at Red 13. He gets up and gets like pissed off at you. It's pretty funny. You can actually kick the ball and hit Red 13. It's like, haha, animal abuse. But anyways, so Red 13, we love him. He's great.
You laugh at the wrong thing sometimes,
It's
Chris.
so good. But anyways, this leads us to get some more information about Sephiroth, which is the reason why we're here. And it is known that Sephiroth might be heading towards the Golden Saucer, which is known as the happiest place on Earth. It's crazy. It is absolutely crazy. As I'm discussing this, I will look for a picture of it to post it in there so you can see it. But the Golden Saucer looks like this gigantic golden set of mushrooms that are just risen high above the desert. And it's a gigantic, like, it's basically like Universal Studios in the desert on this mushroom that is extremely too high to be safe at whatsoever. And the way you actually get to the Golden Saucer is also very, very scary as well. But we'll get there because there's a cinematic for that, and we'll watch that one. But that's not this episode. Anyways, but so basically you get word that Sephiroth is heading towards the Golden Saucer. So now you know that you need to get to the Golden Saucer in order to find Sephiroth. So that's where we end up going to there, but there's only one way to get to the Golden Saucer, which gets brought up, and that way is through Mount Coral, which I know that probably doesn't mean anything to you now, but we've actually talked about this before. Mount Coral is where Barret is from. Yeah, and we know Barret has a little bit of a past
was gonna say he's got history
He's
there.
got history there, which means that
Oh, good.
we are about to find out some more about our good friend Barrett
Yay.
on the next episode of DFU.
Oh, okay.
We're about to hit two really big story plots here coming up. For one, we're about to meet Barrett's story and get his story, and then two, we're about to get introduced to a new character, a new teammate. So that'll take up a pretty good significant amount of an episode. So we'll end it here. Um, that being said, let me go ahead and post this picture of the golden saucer in here so you can see it. Although I think this picture is kind of small. It doesn't really show the desert either, which kind of sucks. But yeah, that's the golden saucer. I said kind of small. See if I can't find a better one. Yeah.
Wow.
And that, like, literally is. I mean, I'm trying to find one where it actually shows it from the outside view because, like, it's literally gigantic. And to get up there is two cables and a tram car. And this thing is like there's no building in today's world to compare like the size of this thing. And each one of those mushrooms is a different part of the park. So one of it's like
Oh
just the
man.
fucking theme park with the roller coasters. The other one's like just the casino. The other one's like just the hotel. Like it's huge. It's known as the happiest place on earth. And yeah,
So kind of like Vegas.
pretty
It's
much. It's pretty
Vegas.
much Vegas in the air.
Okay. Vegas is not a happy place.
No, I've been there. It is not. There are a lot of depressing people in Vegas. That is for sure.
Yeah, a lot of unhappy people. A lot of people trying to pretend that it's the happiest place on earth and not doing an awesome job.
No, 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 no. But yeah, so that is where we will be heading next. Is to Mount Coral to finally get the backstory of our hero, Barrett Wallace, and to understand not only will we figure out what happened to his hand, but we will also get the origin of Little Miss Marlene and understand how she
Yay!
came to be with Barrett.
That's going to be lovely.
Yes, it is a good story. Definitely a good story. So I'm excited to get to that too. And then, like I said, once we get to the Golden Saucer, we get another teammate, which you get to meet someone new, which is also cool as well. So, yes, fun to be had on the next episode. But with the end of that, I don't know. Do we even have another character for you? Have we done
We
everybody?
do because I haven't actually asked about Tifa yet. I think she's the last
You
one.
haven't asked about Tifa yet. Good old Tifa.
Nope. I was waiting until you could tell me everything. We didn't have anything hidden, but
Yeah.
I don't think it's going to happen. So,
Unfortunately, we still got a little ways to go before we hit Nibelheim, which is where a lot of her backstory comes into play. Let's see.
unless you want to tell me about Sephiroth instead.
I think that would be way more on a spoiler aspect than
Okay,
any
then
other
talk to me
possible
about Tifa.
character I could possibly go into. Besides maybe Vincent, and that's because some of their backstory plays into each other. But, anyways, so Tifa Lockhart. What's pretty cool about her, so some interesting things about her. She is one of the most iconic characters outside of Final Fantasy VII besides Cloud, because she's been ported into multiple other things, just like Cloud has, not on the same level, but multiple other things. Actually, there's been a lot of things that's happened where Cloud will get ported into something and people will actually get upset because Tifa did not get ported in as well. She is actually one of the fan favorites. As you know, she is part of the amazing love triangle that is the Cloud, Aerith, and Tifa love triangle. What's pretty cool is her name, Lockhart, is actually supposed to be a symbolization of that love triangle,
Hmm.
which I thought was pretty interesting.
And Gainsborough for Aerith is
Yeah,
not like
yeah, it has nothing to do with that,
cool. Yeah.
Or there's,
And Cloud
Barrett
Strife.
Wallace, like, all these other last names don't mean anything, but when we get to Tifa, it's a different story. It's a different story. That's because
Eh,
Tifa's Bay.
I think Strife works as a last name. He's going through a lot of strife.
Strife is an
We're not
awesome
even.
last name. Like, I would
No, no,
be
it is. It is.
completely okay with changing my last name to Strife. I would be 100% okay with that. Like, on board, sign me up. Let's do it. Chris Strife, ease. Rolls off the tongue. Can you actually do that in here? Oh, you can't.
You
No.
you
Wait.
good?
I just did something and I didn't mean to do it, but I'm glad I did it because this is exactly what I was wanting to express to you. Oh yeah, yeah. Here you go. So I'm gonna post this in the Discord. Sorry, I completely got off track. Click the link, or no, you don't even have to click the link. You just watch it right there in Discord, showing you the golden saucer.
Wow. Yeah, it
Yeah,
is.
and you know it did that.
That's
Thing is
great.
fucking huge.
It's
And
insane.
remember, once again, like with these graphics, it's pretty fucking good. It's pretty good for 1997. That's all I'm saying. I will defend this game.
God, I love how you're even trying to defend the
I will.
graphics. What are we?
I will.
We are 20 plus years later. Well,
20,
yeah,
20,
20
yeah,
plus years.
22, about to be 23 in January. Yep. Yup. But
You fanboy
I do,
hard.
I do. And I will also say this just because of how much you love them. There is a mushroom head dedicated to chocobo racing. Yes, jockeys and
Yay.
chocobos. Yes,
Ah!
chocobo racing. Gotta love them.
That's so
The
fantastic.
chocobo. But anyway, so back to the little Miss Tifa Lockhart because we got way the fuck off track here.
We really did.
Man. So she grew up. Um, both of her parents are dead. Her mom died due to illness, which I think I've already talked about that before.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. And then her father died due to Sephiroth illness. You know, kind of a sword through the stomach type
Yeah,
deal.
he's kind of contagious.
She grew up being friends with Cloud. She was trained in a number of different kind of martial arts, which is pretty awesome. Her trainer lived in that city or in the same town as her, Nibelheim. Born and raised in Nibelheim. She something happened after, which we can't get into, but something happened after the whole, we'll call it the Nibelheim incident. After the Nibelheim incident, she found herself in Midgar, and within Midgar ended up making friends with Barrett, opening her bar called the Seventh Heaven, which is Tifa's bar, to be a hideout front for Avalanche, and then joined Avalanche. At which later we end up finding out that she ends up finding Cloud, offering him a job at Avalanche, and then our story begins. So yeah, that's pretty much all I can really go into about Tifa. I mean, there's not really too much because once again, a lot of people really need to remember, especially whenever I'm going through this, is that all these characters were not originally designed to be in the game. It was just supposed to be Cloud, Barrett, and Aerith. Those were supposed to only be the only three playable characters in this game. Um,
Oh, that's right. And then
mhm.
they delayed and they were able to add more
Yep, they
characters in.
added more characters because of certain events that are going to happen that I can't get into because they're spoiler territory. But because of certain events that are going to happen, they wanted multiple characters to kind of be there to kind of help shape not only the story, but to shape Cloud's character into becoming who he becomes at the end of the game, which is pretty cool. So, and you'll see more of that as we go on. Those stories start to click in definitely after we get past the Golden Saucer for sure. Because we're hitting it. We're definitely getting there. And Golden Saucer is also the place of the famous date scene that I've talked to you so many times about. We won't get it this time. We go to the Golden Saucer twice. So we won't get it this time. But the second time we go to the Golden Saucer, we'll get the date scene. And as some of you don't know, but Kelsey and Mandy, our editor, does know, is that I play the game alongside of telling the DFU, so that way I make sure I'm giving Kelsey as accurate of a story as possible. And I will make sure that I have my Tifa date scene for me and Kelsey to react to so she can see the beautiful love scene of Tifa and Cloud. So excited.
Oh boy.
So excited. It's like the best thing that can happen is like when you get to date scene and it's Tifa that comes into the bedroom going, "Hey, you want to go for a walk?" Bam.
Wow, that's not how I thought you were going to finish that
No,
sentence.
no love making happens, unfortunately. They still
Do
had
they
Cloud. They
kiss?
still had Cloud. Actually, that's funny. They don't. There's only one
Mmm.
person that kisses you out of the everybody that you could take on a date. There's only one person that gives you a kiss, and it's on your cheek. We haven't met that
Is
person
it
yet. Nope,
Barrett?
we haven't met that person yet.
Okay.
It's not Barrett. Although Barrett just bros down with you. He's just like it's just like such an awkward scene because they're both sitting across from each other on this like little carousel, and like Barrett and Cloud's arms are just like both just like folded, and they're just staring out like different windows. It's pretty fucking funny, honestly. So yeah, they're just kind of like I don't know why I'm here. I don't know why I decided to do this. Why did I say yes to this? Why did I go ask Cloud if he wanted to go on a walk? Like it's pretty funny stuff, honestly.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
amazing.
that's the only achievement I still have yet to get is taking Baird on a date because it's a little bit harder to do. There's a lot more stuff you actually have to do. Actually, bam, there we go. I actually found the actual still shot picture of Cloud Barrett. Bam, there we go. Like I said, acting pretty like yeah,
That's
right.
cute. That's
Barrett's so
cute.
fucking big compared to Cloud. He's so fucking huge.
It's great.
It's great. Anyways, but yeah, so that wraps up Tifa Lockhart and also wraps up this episode.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that is the wrap on our fifth class of the Final Fantasy
shorty.
semester. Again, if you have any questions about anything that I may not have asked, if there was something that sparked your interest, please throw those in the comments below because Chris will definitely jump
I
in
do.
there. He'll educate you if you can.
I do.
If he can't because there's spoiler territory, he will probably encourage you to just continue watching,
Mhm.
but he'll definitely thank you for your question at the very
Mhm.
least. If you enjoyed this content, please like this video,
Yes.
subscribe to our channel, and turn on the notifications so you know when we're uploading these videos. If you want to contact us directly, again, those comments or the Twitter or Twitch links below. In the meantime, I hope you guys have a great day. Bye, friends.